In this video, we're going to continue our journey on learning how to use the rectangle commands. So far we've seen how to make rectangles, we've seen a couple of bit about errors, and rectangles need. In order to be able to make a rectangle, it needs an x coordinate, a y coordinate, a width, and a height. But there are also some little extras you can throw in there to make your rectangles more interesting than just a bunch of like bland blocks. So what you can do is after you've made your x, then y, then width, then height in that order, it has to go in that order. What you're going to do is if you want to add a little bit more, you can add a comma here. And here we're going to learn about two new properties that we can add to a rectangle. I can make a fill. So I'm going to say comma and then fill equals, and I can turn my rectangle into a color. So maybe I'll make my rectangle red. So now it'll make the rectangle at the top left corner coordinates 50, 100 with a width of 50 and a height of 170. So I run it. Oh, but then also, sorry, the last part I did is I'll now make the fill of that rectangle red, so it makes it red. So top left corner 50, 100, that's the x and the y. The width was 50, so you're going to see from 50 it's going to go to 100 there. And the height was 170, so from 100 and the y, you'll see the new y goes down to 270. We made our little rectangle there, and it's red. And at this point, you can start to think about like making some shapes, right? Maybe you want to make a, maybe I'll make like just a really plain face here. So I'm going to make maybe an eyeball there, and just a flat mouth over there. So let's see. To make the eyeball on the top left-ish, but not too far, let's go like 100, 100. So I'm going to start by making my eye at 100, 100. The eye should be a box, so I'll make it 50 by 50. And let's make the eye color brown. And now I'll make a new rectangle. I'll go maybe to 300 in the x, but I want it to be the same height as the other y. So the other y I'll make 100. The eyes should be the same size, so I'll make it 50, 50. And I'll make the fill equal to brown again. And then this last one I'll have is the mouth. So the mouth should be a bit lower. Maybe 300 in the y is good. But I'll start it at 100 in the x, so it's starting right under that other eye. And it has to go kind of all the way across the screen, but not too far. So from 100, maybe we'll add 200 here, see how the mouth looks. And if I run this, we've got our eyes. It looks a little off kilter though, right? Because again, let's not forget, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. We got this kind of robot looking thing. It looks like it's smirking at me. 100, 100, it's the top left corner. So what's going to end up happening is I have 100 between the left side of this and the left side of the screen. Here I'm at 350 and I'm 50 away from the right side of the screen there. So maybe I want to shift everything over 50 to the left. So let's make this 50, make this 250. So I just shifted, right? It was 100 and 300. So I just shifted everything over to the left 50. So 50 here, 100 take away 50 is 50. 300 take away 50 is 250. And I run it now. All right, well, I think we went too far there. So maybe we should halves it up and go halfway. So we'll go 25. So let's make this 75 and this 275. And now, all right, the eyes are looking kind of good. 75 away from the right side of the screen there, from the left side of the screen there. And 325 is 75 away from the right side of the screen there. It looks good. The mouth is at 100 and 300. It also looks like the mouth got centered from us doing that too. Not looking too bad. We got a nice little face there. You can add colors. You can do whatever else you want. You can also, so that's us just practicing again with rectangles a little bit. You can change the fill to be whatever you want. Maybe I want to make these eyes like gray, and now the eyes will be gray. Maybe I want the lips to be red, so I'll make fill equals red lips, and now that rectangle down there will be red. You can play around however you want. The last new thing that I'll add over here is, so we have the new thing that we can add on, an optional part to the rectangle. You don't need to add a color, and if you don't specify what color, it will still make the rectangle. It's just going to make it black by default. But if you want to add the fill, you're more than welcome to add that fill. And similarly, you're allowed to, if you'd like, add what's called a border. So let's try making a border. So to add a new property, I'll just add a new comma. I can say border, and then you can write a color. So I'll write that the border equals black. And now when I run it, you'll see on the lips, there's now a new little kind of black border around the outside there. I can do a similar thing by, whoops, didn't mean to do that. That's super far in the future. Oh my gosh, the back. Let's zoom back out, zoom back in. That was something from Unit 8. Stop, why is it doing that? All right, there we go. I can add a border on this one as well by just saying border. And maybe I want to make this border equal to green. And now we've got a little green border around the outside of this eye over here. So that's all that we're adding for today. You can make your rectangles X, Y, width, height, but you can also optionally add a fill afterwards or a border afterwards. So let's see an example here. I don't need to have a fill necessarily to have a border, right? I could just make this border equal to, I don't know, purple. And when I run it now, it'll still be a black rectangle over there, but it'll have a purple border around the outside. Another thing, the order of your X, Y, width, and height does matter. It has to be X first, then Y, then width, then height. But once you get to this optional stuff at the end, because you're specifying I'm changing the fill or I'm changing the border, the order of these don't matter. I can just say, hey, you know what? I want to put border first for whatever reason. And you can go ahead and do that. And it's not going to complain and nothing's going to change. That's all I got for this one. Hopefully you're getting a little bit about, a little more. You can start making all sorts of images just with these rectangles if you want to go crazy. But there's more to learn, and like always, every time you learn something new, there's more cool stuff you can make. So feel free to make something cool here, but there's definitely a lot more in Unit 1 to move forward before you start making some big picture.